As I said before, the king of New York, Chris Jericho. Chris, how are you, man?
Good. We just played that song at the Whiskey A Go-Go with Quarantine a couple days ago, so I know the words.
Any chance to horn in on letting that Whiskey A Go-Go show?
I just had to.
You're rubbing that in. I appreciate it.
Why wouldn't I? You wish you played the Whiskey. You know you did.
I wish I was there for it, at least.
I know. It was amazing. 2 bands I've headlined the Whiskey with now, Dave.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Fozzy and Quarantine.
Yeah. We just gave you some comedy gold earlier about debating Citizen Kane. And then Dave gave me this giant bottle of Belvedere. So hopefully you guys have Patreon or whatever it is that you get to watch during commercial break. Do you have that option?
Well, we have YouTube.
Well, you should. Okay, so YouTube fans,
Yes.
There you go. You get to see some extra stuff.
I was going to get you, Chris, and tell me if I'm wrong here. I was going to get you Grey Goose.
Right.
I was all prepared to get you Grey Goose. And Violetta, my wife, was like, no. You know, he needs to have a true Polish vodka.
Okay.
And this is the best that there is Belvedere. I don't know anything about vodka, but she insisted Grey Goose is, she said Grey Goose is for frauds.
Okay, well, first of all, Violetta, shut your ass. Second of all, Belvedere top shelf as well. Very good.
Yes.
But I do like Grey Goose, and it's not for amateurs. It's for very distinguished gentlemen, such as myself.
With an extensive palate.
Yes. But I do appreciate the Belvedere. It is one of my choices if there's no Grey Goose available, and it'd be a nice switch it up. And I appreciate that. Polish vodka, French vodka, all very good. You know what is not good? Which is the cliche, Russian vodka.
Interesting.
Stay away from the Smirnoff.
Okay, that's my wife said the same thing. She said
Okay.
Smirnoff,
Well,
no
then
good.
She's just redeemed herself.
Okay.
She said Smirnoff, no good.
I'm hardcore, so I'm a Smirnoff Ice guy. So you guys wouldn't. It's what's higher than top shelf. That's that.
The rooftop. roof level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have some roof vodka, please? Nic Nemeth, welcome to the hosting gig. I didn't know.
Hey, thanks for having me on your show, Chris. Big fan, long time listener, first time caller.
Good to have you. Nick will be joining us on the Jericho cruise this year.
Hell yeah.
Very excited about that. Dave LaGreca not invited this year.
No, not invited this year, but I've done 2.
You have,
and I'm wearing my Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager T-shirt from the last.
Thank you.
Which I bought all the shirts.
Well, thank you. I'd love to have you. Bubba was mad too. Sorry, Bully was mad too that he wasn't invited this year. But I have to switch it up.
Yes,
can't have
of
the same
course.
crew every year because you want new people. Keep it fresh. Keep it going. And Nick's hot right now. Everyone knows it. Nick's hot. So get the hottest ones on I can.
It's all about fasting and just doing Wii Fit and Pilates. Like it's
skin cream, moisturizing.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice, hydrating.
Well, the last cruise, Bully and I hosted a show. We had Don Callis as I guess we presented him with our Busty Awards from last year. And we did it, and we almost blew away. Like, there were high, like, hurricane winds on the boat while we were doing the show, but we still had over 1,000 fans there in attendance to watch the show. And I've said it before, and I'm not just saying this, Chris, because you're here. I say it all the time. Without a doubt, if no one has ever gone and done the experience, best vacation I have ever had. You're going to absolutely love it. It's top notch. Like you said, top notch. On the rock side, on the wrestling side, everybody coming together and just having a great time. So if you haven't done it, you definitely have to do it.
Yeah, we've really got it down to a science of really figuring it out. Like, it's just really is just an extravaganza for the eyes and ears. And I've really planned it so there's so much going on. You literally almost can't do everything you want to do. And that's the idea, almost like a rock and roll and wrestling Disneyland. When you get your map and you're like, there's no way we can make from Frontierland to Spaceland or whatever it's called.
Itchy land to scratchy land.
Yeah, you can't even hardly do that in one day. So yeah, we've really got it down to science, and we're really excited January 31st to head back out on the beach, the 6th voyage of the Jericho cruise.
So very, very cool. And thank you for making me a part of it prior. And then we got to get into what's happening this weekend. Hammerstein Ballroom, historic venue for Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor final battle coming up just a few blocks away from where we are right now. And you're going up against Matt Cardona. We had Matt Cardona on the show yesterday, and you're the Ring of Honor champion. That's going to be one hell of a main event.
And the King of New York. Yeah, it's exciting. We started doing the King of New York thing because we have the 3 shows, like you said, Final Battle on Friday, Collision on Saturday, Dynamite on Sunday. And it's been great for me because usually, and Nick knows this, you come into New York, you fly in, it's a hard travel day, traffic into the city, you do the show, you leave the next day, and that's it. This has been awesome because I've actually been here since Tuesday, and I leave Sunday evening. It's almost like I'm Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone 2. I've been left alone in New York for a week, and you're actually getting a chance to enjoy it. Christmas time in New York is a great time, and we went out the other night to film the King of New York vignette that we showed on Dynamite last night, and got a chance to go to Rockefeller Center and Radio City and Times Square and just be around New York and catch the vibe again, because it's been a while since I actually got a chance to just be here for a few days instead of just in and out all the time.
It's funny. I actually just saw a video from Jeff Tate, formerly of Queensryche, and he needed to just like kind of reset. And the way he did that, and it sounds crazy, he came to New York for the holidays because he said there's nothing like being in New York City for the holidays. Now, I'm a jaded Jersey person that's had to come into New York during the holidays for 25 years.
Right.
So I hate it. But I mean, from being outside, I guess there is nothing like being here during the holiday
Well, yeah,
season.
especially for a reason, having these shows at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And, I was thinking, I don't think I'd ever been there, but I have been there for the very first ECW One Night Stand. But that was back in 2005. So it's been a long time since I've rock and rolled at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And, it's great, whether it's Madison Square Garden or Arthur Ashe, where we've been going with AEW lately. There's something about New York wrestling fans and just wrestling in New York. It's one of the premier wrestling cities in the world with great fans. And I'm not just saying that because they're my subjects as the King of New York, but it really is the case. It really is true. So I'm looking forward to Hammerstein Ballroom. It's a smaller place, but it's still going to be as rocking as the Garden, or as rocking as Arthur Ashe, or Meadowlands, or any of those places where we've been over the years. So it's going to be a good weekend for sure.
And you were saying, I've been there too. Like, it's going in, doing like a somewhat of a working vacation, to where you're justifying being in town, but also you're working nonstop. And that's how I do almost every stupid vacation I do, because I can't relax. But it is great. Like, it's a great time to be in New York. It's a great time as a fan. It's New York. It's Christmas time. It's everyone's around. It's so nice to be there, but also it's such a cool moment. Because you said like, you did in 2005 Hammerstein, but to fans, it's such a special connection to wrestling. And you're right. It's like not just the Northeast, it's that arena, that building, and everyone's on top of you. We were talking earlier about Dynamite. I said there's something about that aesthetics last night of the show, to where you just see everyone surrounding you all over the top of you. And I go, those were some of my favorite WWE shows, like White Plains, all those things, where it's the smaller venue, everyone's on you, and you have like that ECW feel to it, but you do it in 2024 and make it stand out that much more. That being said, are we getting something special for you and Cardona? Because I finally know two people who are fighting each other in a significant world title match at a cool, nostalgic ballroom. Are we getting something extra special other than you being the King of New York and, Broski being Broski?
Well, I just think just the fact that we're doing this is special. I mean, once again, of course, obviously ring entrances and all that sort of thing, but you just basically answered your own question, Nick, and the fact that it's in the Hammerstein Ballroom with the vibe that it's going to have. I don't think anybody expected Matt Cardona to answer this challenge. He's not an AEW regular. We haven't seen him in AEW a whole lot. And Chris Jericho being the Ring of Honor champion, 2 years ago I did it as the Ocho, and here we are again doing it now with the Nueve. I mean, there's a lot going on with Ring of Honor. There's a lot of potential television deals to be talked about and to be discussed. So, and it's funny too, because it's like Ring of Honor has such a wrestling style wrestling style is selling out venues with a good story, with two good characters that people want to see get in the ring. That's what we've done. I'm very happy with this build that we've created over the last 3 weeks. I don't think it could have gone better. I know the ticket sales pretty much doubled after this match was announced. And we're going to sell out if we haven't already, depending on what time of day it is today. So, it's going to be special just by the fact that we're there. And I'm excited about it. Like Matt Cardona, he's really done a great job of reinventing himself, of recreating himself. And dare I say, he reminds me a lot of Bret Hart. Everything he does is very solid. It looks great. He's very meat and potatoes in the best possible way. Matt's not the type of guy that's going to do a moonsault off the balcony, and neither am I. So we'll leave that to the guys that do that. And I expect we're just going to beat the shit of each other with a raucous crowd who are sick of Jericho proclaiming to be the king of New York and talking about, coming to Hell's Kitchen in the Bronx via the Staten Island Ferry and going, you can't even get to the Bronx on the Staten Island Ferry. It's like, that's the idea. I had Paul Stanley sent me a Wikipedia page telling me that Hell's Kitchen is not in the Bronx. I'm like, I know.
I know.
Yeah, but you're factual about the urine-soaked sidewalks, though. That is actually a fact.
But that's the point. We know that we're in New York coming in here, and the idea of this is to get people interested and New Yorkers interested in what we're doing. And it's once again, it's worked like a charm. So it's very exciting. And I'm really, really, anytime you get to wrestle in a new venue where there's some buzz about it, it's a cool thing.
Paul Stanley's texting you, huh?
Well, yeah. And I was like, oh,
fucking
I said,
man.
Paul, I'm the king of New York. What do you expect? And I'm like, now I know he watches my stuff.
So yes. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. When I think of Ring of Honor, I think of Final Battle. We had Kerry Silken on the show yesterday. Ring of Honor and Final Battle for me, huge Ring of Honor fan, gave us a lot at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And yesterday I was talking about the nostalgia factor. And maybe as an old Ring of Honor fan, I would like a little bit more nostalgia. How important is it you're at the Hammerstein, it's Final Battle. Do you want some nostalgia, or is this more just about the current Ring of Honor product and what's going on?
Look, I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask because I followed Ring of Honor via, keeping my ear to the ground. But when we were working, and Nick will tell you this as well, Ring of Honor was at its peak early 2000s, mid 2000s. That's when WWE was on, 4 days a week schedule. The last thing you want to do when you get home on a Tuesday and you're out again on a Friday morning is watch wrestling. So I knew what was going on with Ring of Honor. I knew kind of what the vibe was. To me, it seemed like kind of the extension of ECW, kind of the heir apparent to that. And the lineage of the guys that went through there, completely next level. So nostalgia-wise, I'm not a nostalgia guy. Maybe you might want to bring in some guys that used to work there, but a lot of those guys are still in the business. So maybe, Bryan Danielson or something like that. I don't know, whoever is out there that would stop by. But to me, I think it's more about what we're doing now with Ring of Honor. I think, once again, there's a lot going on in the works with television and all that sort of thing. So we're just trying to put as much focus on the Ring of Honor brand as we can. And that's another reason why as the Ring of Honor champion, I've been on Ring of Honor 3 weeks in a row. I think it's the most press and the most focus that the Ring of Honor brand has had on Dynamite in months, if not years, probably since the last time I was the Ring of Honor champion. So Tony has a plan for what he wants to do with it, and I'm happy to be involved. It's been great being on Dynamite promoting this match because this is a Ring of Honor show. We've got the Continental Classic happening. So to be on Dynamite to kind of put a spotlight on our show tomorrow night and then go back to Dynamite and Collision Saturday, Sunday, it kind of what my role is in this company, doing whatever Tony wants me to do to the best of my abilities and having a great time doing it.
You brought up those 3 nights in a row a couple different times. That's awesome. It really is for fans. It's a cool moment. I'm not even in New York, but knowing that you guys are running the entire weekend and having these different shows, it's so great to be a wrestling fan right now anyway, because wrestling is everywhere. But like you said, in New York, it makes it a bigger deal. And it's 3 straight nights and Tony's got a plan and everyone's talking about Ring of Honor even more so than they have been in a while. Most importantly, why is John Corabi better than Vince Neil at singing, do you think?
Well, once again, you go through the pantheon of Motley Crue, and yeah, Vince is the guy. He's the guy that's been there. He's in a lot of ways the face of the band. And John Corabi is just a better singer, but it's almost like the Sammy Hagar thing, and people just want Dave They don't want the better singer of Sammy. And I think that album's very underrated. Which, by the way, I turned you on to it.
I know, and it's fine.
You were very regretful for years to listen to it. So.
A decade, I refused to play
it because of that reason.
Yes,
you got to listen. You got to listen to Gary Sharon Van Halen next.
That's a stretch. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that they've actually liked that album. Now Quarantine, and I love the concept. I'm a huge Kiss fan. 80s Kiss, I know that's like you always say, it's like an elevator. That's when you got on.
Yes,
was during the 80s, and now you're representing that part that a lot of fans forget about, which they reinvented themselves in the 80s. Very popular. Great set list that you've been doing, and you just did the Whiskey A Go-Go. Is there one song from that period that you haven't done yet that you want to do?
There's a few, because there's so much great material from that era. 80. We're talking about 80s non-makeup Kiss, which is what my other band, Quarantine, I think we were the only non-makeup 80s Kiss band.
We only do 80s Kiss, sir.
Only 80s Kiss, bro.
Yeah, and people are like, what? There's a Kiss band with no makeup? I'm like, yes, these songs are amazing. They are the best songs in Kiss's catalog, from Heaven's on Fire to Lick It Up to Silver Spoon to Good Girl Gone Bad and I Just Wanna, and there's so many great tunes. So, I mean, there is literally a treasure trove. There's probably another 20 songs that we could record and do. I think what we're going to look into next is Turn on the Night from Crazy Nights, which is a very poppy Kiss tune from the 80s. I think if Bon Jovi would have released it in 1987, it'd be a huge hit. But it's very hooky and melodic. And here's the thing with Quarantine. We've taken these Kiss songs, these obscure songs, we release them to the radio, and they're going top 20. Good Girl Gone Bad, which is a Gene Simmons deep track from Crazy Nights, went top 10 on rock radio in the secondary market charts. So these songs still resonate, and a good song is a good song no matter what decade it is. And it's a lot of fun to play them. We just played in Vegas after the Whiskey. We had Bruce Kulick join us on stage for a bunch of songs.
That's awesome.
Eric Singer joined us for Dominoes. We had half the Revenge lineup playing with us, and we packed the place, and we packed the Whiskey as well. So there is a market for these songs, and they're fun. And we also don't forget about the cheese element of that era.
Kiss cheese.
There's so much cheese to it, from the costumes to the between the set banter, between the song banter to the lyrics. I mean, we're doing a song called Fits Like a Glove now, and when I go through her, it's just like a hot knife through butter. I mean, how can you sing those lyrics with a straight face? You have to laugh at the pomposity of Gene Simmons to write those lyrics and sing them seriously. And we bring that to you here in 2024.
All right, so that brings up this next question. And I can't even take credit for this question. This comes from Tom and Zeus from the Shout Out Loudcast, which I'm a big fan of. What do you think is more dangerous and more painful to come from two Gene Simmons penned 80s lyrics? Okay, sticking your wah-wah into a hornet's nest or a fireplace. Coming from Fits Like a Glove and was that Any Way You Slice It. What do you think is more painful?
Well, I'd have to go probably fire. Because it actually could burn your. Would you call it a wah-wah?
Yeah, they called it a wah-wah.
You can use any word. You can
medically speaking, Chris. When it comes to your wah-wah,
you can use any. You can burn your vodka. You can burn your vodka bottle right off. Whereas the hornet's nest, you just get bites on your vodka bottle, and you probably could heal that with some salve.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yes, I use the word salve in a
yes,
sentence.
Yes, again. I mean, my wife describes it in wrestling terms as a small package.
Oh, Miss Hates Grey Goose. Oh, a little Miss Hate Grey Goose. Oh, her. We're bringing her up again.
Is that vodka pierogi flavored? You got to tell us, Dave, because
it goes very good.
It pairs well with a nice pierogi.
It pairs very well with a pierogi, and since my wife picked it out, nobody has a more tasty pierogi than my wife.
And by the way, we did hear your small package joke.
Well, you know what? It went under the radar because you're making.
I was too busy making a bigger and better joke at the time. And comedy's all timing, LaGreca. You need to know that.
Well, listen, I've only been doing this for 15 years, so maybe give me a couple more years. You got 2025. Big year for AEW streaming, everything, a lot of changes.
Yeah, we go simulcast on January 1st on Max. At the same time as Dynamite is on TBS, at the same time as Collision is on TNT. So that's huge. We've never had that before. in pro wrestling. It's huge. It's huge. And I think it's going to take AEW to the next level. It just shows how much we've grown in 5+ years. Now simulcasting on Max with this ridiculously huge television deal from Warner Brothers Discovery. It's a whole new era for AEW, and I think it's just been amazing, just the progress we've made in such a short time to become, I think, the third most valuable fighting franchise in the world today. Think about that. I can't think of any other company that's done that in their own genre in 5 years. So it's very exciting for us.
Chris, you've been such a great friend to the show. I can't thank you enough for coming in here. I know it's a busy, week for you, busy weekend, 3 big shows for AEW again. You get Ring of Honor Final Battle Friday night, Collision on Saturday night, and Dynamite on Sunday. And like you said, probably by the time we go off the air, all 3 shows are going to be sold out. But thank you for being such a good friend to the show, and thank you for coming in today.
AEWTix.com, and come see the King of New York. I'm going to be taking the Staten Island Ferry to the Meatpacking District and going to go hang out in Times Square. It's going to be great.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to Sbarro's for pizza tonight too.
Oh,
it's
come on.
True
Authentic
pizza place.
No.
Best pizza in the city. Yeah, you got to fold it though, right?
Canadians that think Sbarro's
is like go to Boston Pizza. Get the hell out of here.
They go to Sbarro's.
Go watch music at Boston Pizza, Jericho.
Dear God.